It was a really brave move on Price Jr.'s part to appoint me as chair of the local government committee, not because, but to appoint any black person to chair that committee because most of our counties are rural. And when the county commissioners come to the Capitol, they see a black guy with a big afro and an Ike jacket and some wide-legged pants and some steel shoes that I sometimes wore on purpose, sitting at the end of the table. The message is that if you look behind the clothing and look at the person and not what they're wearing, then we're a lot more alike than we are different. And I was trying to convey that message, not for myself, because I think I tried to make people respect me for my mind and for who I was, but I wanted to make sure they didn't overlook some really bright black guy because of the way she or he's dressed. So I would wear those kind of things. I was never a big Afro fan. Thin hair, couldn't really grow them. I don't have any. I couldn't grow an Afro now if I paid for one. But I would do that sometimes to make people look beyond that, the persona, and listen to me. And then they would see that what I was saying and how I was looking were two different things. It was a wonderful opportunity for all of us. It was sort of like when Speaker Clayton came to Houston later on. And maybe, in looking back on it, maybe that helped prepare me for that because I got a chance to see life through the eyes of a rural county commissioner and the problems that they had on a daily basis. And we were trying to construct a law in broad terms that would resolve their problems and at the same time resolve the problems of an urban area. Houston may have had 2 million people at the time. So it was a balancing act because we couldn't write one provision for small counties and a different provision for counties above a certain size, but it had to be broad enough to encompass them both. I think that on balance, we had a really wonderful, our part of the Constitution was really wonderful, and I have no pride of authorship. It was recommended to us by the commission, and then it was massaged by the county commissioners themselves who came and testified, and we worked with them and talked with them and compromised on different things and came up with a good document. But that caused a great deal of consternation and concern when my appointment was announced. Now, Dick Brown was the first person who came to me and paved the way for others. I guess it's like, seeing a rabid dog in the corner, what you think is a rabid dog in a cage, and one kid walks over and pets the dog, and everybody else says, hey, the dog doesn't bite. And so he kind of changed the perception of everyone else about me, who had only seen me from a distance fighting their legislation and trying to kill their legislation in the last session of the legislature. Probably a month into the process, when they saw that I was open-minded, I didn't have an agenda, I wasn't against them, I was trying to come up with a document. I mean, I was the captain of our ship. It was our ship, and I wanted just as much to have a good product for us as they did. My job was to chair the meetings, but I wasn't authoritarian or dictatorial toward them, so we worked together toward a product, and their feelings about me changed over the course of the time we spent on a daily basis together. And it gave me a level of understanding of them and how to approach them on an issue, and them of me, so that I went to them on an issue and they knew I was legitimate and I was a straight shooter and I wasn't going to pull any punches or do anything like that. So friendship is probably too strong a word, but mutual respect was probably a good place where we ended up, where we opened the lines of communication because I was the chair of the committee with folk that I ordinarily would have very few dealings with in a regular session.